Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and friends and family and all that jazz, welcome back to the bottom tier. I'm Greg.
I'm Matt.
And when Matt's not feeling like being a terrifying Frosty the Snowman,
it's me, Frosty.
That's legitimately terrifying.
It's terrifying and a little sexy, I would say.
Keep your eyes open, everybody. The C-tier slasher flick, Frosty the Dead Man, coming to you from Bottom Tier Productions this Christmas season. How are we all doing today, guys? How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm pretty okay.
Pretty okay.
I'm kind of tired.
You know what? It's kind of the theme of this week. Like, it's just been an exhausting week.
I don't know what it is about December, but every time it comes around, like right after Thanksgiving, it's like, okay, cool. It's December. It's getting a little colder, but that's great. The holidays are coming up. Oh boy.
I think it's just because the weather is frightful.
But this fire is so delightful.
Let it snow? I don't know what the song is.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Not that it would ever snow down here in beautiful sunny Arizona, but guys, if you couldn't tell, we're just today's really casual. Today's a really casual
I mean,
day.
it's casual, but there were some things that got dropped this last week that was super exciting.
Well, really, there was only the one thing that was dropped that was super exciting.
I guess
but it's
I said
so
things
super exciting
that
it counts as like 6 different things.
Oh, absolutely. There you go. You nailed it. You nailed it right on the head there. And if you don't know what we're talking about, if you're deciding to use this podcast as your news resource, A, thank you.
We love you.
I don't know if that's a great idea. But
C, we have some news for you.
Yeah, the news is there is a new set that's been announced to be coming out in March. And what is the name of that new set?
It's going to be the Outsiders set. Quote unquote, flesh and blood delves down into the pits, the sprawling web of underground caverns and canals, home to all manner of backstabbing and skullduggery. Outsiders releases March 24th, 2023. Pre-releases in stores worldwide March 17th to 20th.
Wow, Outsiders, right?
Outsiders.
Right. And we're going into the pits. So this new set's going to be the pits.
But
and we got to stay golden.
Oh my God.
All right, we're done with that. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Killing me, Smalls.
The cover of the art that they revealed,
dude,
was
it looks
this like
so good.
Pirate-looking lady.
That's a mechanologist, my guy.
Mechanologist, piratey-looking lady with a cigar in her mouth, right?
Let me double check that actually, because I think so. But my brain could be like, yep. Cigar in her mouth, big ass spikes all over the place.
It's
I think
like
she
a brain
has a brain
sword,
in her hand.
A brain sword. So it's kind of. It reminds me of a lot. So this is kind of like the main theme of today's episode is kind of dissecting like what all this could be, right? This person looks mechanologist. There's a brain, which reminds me of Cavden or whatever. Because that's also the pits too, the merchant.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and this next set is going to be a draftable set, right?
Yes, it is a full draftable set. Yep. Presumably in accordance with the on-off sort of thing that they're doing with the sets.
Right.
We just had our supplemental. We'll get a full new draftable like base set coming up with this one.
And I got to admit, like, this is pretty fast. Like, I did not.
It's super quick.
I didn't really think I thought last time it was just like a slip up in a podcast, but now it's like, oh, we're gonna know exactly what the new set is as soon as the other set releases.
Right, exactly. Which on the one hand, like, kind of cool. You get to keep that hype like just going all the time. But on the other hand, I'm so tired.
For this one, I was like, I haven't even got to enjoy this set yet. But like, I guess I'm waiting 3 months to enjoy it. But,
right. So it's like when Uprising came out, everybody was all about Uprising for a bit, and then 3 months later, even though we knew Dynasty was coming up and we had all the spoilers coming and everything, it started to feel really kind of stagnant. So I think we'll probably get a similar thing here.
Yeah.
And then of course Outsiders will show up and change everything like they do.
Yeah.
But
so right off the bat, what do you think is going to be in it? What do you think the class heroes are going to be? Obviously, that lady's probably going to be a hero.
I'd put like actual cash on that. So we're going down to the pits, right? So we're gonna definitely see some Azalea stuff.
Okay.
Azalea 100% is going to get buffed up here. We're probably going to see a new mechanologist.
Okay.
We may or may not see something like a rune blade. I don't necessarily want to say that it will be like, here's the new rune blade, everybody. But but I think like, especially since whoever this person is on this art, and guys, if you haven't seen the promo art for this, I'm pretty sure there's only like this one piece, maybe a couple of other small ones out there, so it should be pretty easy to find. Go check it out because it is really good. Just like with most of the art that they do for this thing, it's nice. But going off of this, there's a lot of like biomechanical stuff going on, which leads me down more of that like rune blade sort of like shadow sort of path. Yeah, I'm a little biased towards that,
Yeah.
obviously, but I'm kind of hoping there. Probably not going to see a whole lot for like Warrior or stuff like that necessarily. But I think honestly, just spitballing, like the biggest thing I want to see, because we're going into the pits and because that's an area with a merchant hero, I want to see some blipping merchant support, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because this place already has quite a few heroes from it, and it would be interesting to have a draftable set having like kind of what they did with the Icelander, but it's kind of interesting because Azalea is already a draftable hero. It'd be interesting to see if like Azalea comes back as a draftable hero, because James White did say in like a brief thing that Azalea is going to be the business this next year.
Okay, do you want just complete armchair prognostication? Just like,
yeah, that's what we're doing.
yeah, wildest dream sort of stuff.
Yeah,
they re-release Azalea as a ranger assassin.
that could be it.
I honestly think that could be like crazy.
I mean, that'd be really cool. Like have a contract with Azalea and not really know what build's gonna happen,
Exactly.
and then also like the added like attack reactions with that would be huge.
Right? Arrows with contract that you could play the assassin specific attack reactions on that, banishes stuff from the opponent's deck. So you go super control on both yourself and your opponent. You basically end up running the entire game.
Yeah.
Without really having to put too much effort into it at all. So I think that could be really cool.
That'd be huge.
And it's a really good time for it. If we don't see another assassin, or at least some like real like robust assassin support, I think that that would have been a mistake. So I'm hoping for more ranger stuff. I'm hoping for more assassin stuff. I'm hoping for more merchant stuff. And if we can get kind of creative with things, because we're doing dual classes and stuff now, I think that could be super interesting to sort of blend a few of the things that we haven't seen blended together yet.
I think, yeah, I really enjoy that. And I also, like you said, it says the pits, like we might get some shadow things, which would be really cool. They show a mechanologist supposedly on the cover. We don't
Probably
know
a mechanologist.
It could be a
She
or
looks
an assassin.
techie.
Yeah, we're techie or whatever. A mechanologist. Maybe everything's just an assassin. Mechanologist, assassin, whatever. But
that'd be neat.
Yeah. Or it could be a shadow mechanologist,
That'd be neater.
You boost into the banish zone and then you can able to play cards out of the banish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the most broken deck in the game.
Ridiculous.
And we would have a Starbucks situation.
I mean, Dash is already pretty flipping good. So
Dash is great right now, yeah. So it'd be cool to be able to see another new mechanologist, assassin, or a shadow hero of some type. Of course, we need to have a chain replacement.
Eventually.
But this
and
doesn't
Prism too, but this doesn't seem like the kind of place.
Like a very Prism place unless it's like something.
You know what'd be neat though, is if they did like Shadow Illusionist.
That'd be cool.
Right?
Worry about them blues. Because we got red, now we get blue, yellow, now we need blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just complete the trifecta.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. I would like that. Shadow Illusionist would be really cool.
Right?
Yeah, I would play that Illusionist in a heartbeat. But I think I'm excited for this new set, like a new draftable thing. I with the rock paper scissors type deal that they kind of had with Uprising. I do think like if they do have a mechanologist, an assassin would be a very good like time with that, because especially for draftable, it would make it like, oh, you got rid of my mech card, like yeah, now you can't get go again, sucker. Like
right,
stuff
exactly.
Like that. So like. That'd be really cool to be able to see. And so I hope that that's kind of what it is. It'd be a very interesting set, because I do feel like Uprising kind of feels very like not interesting at this point. I don't know. Like
Uprising is a great set.
It
introduces a bunch of new stuff, some really powerful cards that have some good flexibility.
Yeah.
But, part of the problem that you run into when you just work off of one set like this, is that eventually you've seen every card and you've used every card that you like to use.
Yeah.
And so it just turns into the same thing over and over again.
Absolutely. So I'm excited to have this new playable draftable set to be able to consume our lives for another few months.
Right, exactly. Until the next one comes out.
So it'll be great. I'm excited to be able to see that, have a new meta essentially. And yeah, that's like the big news right now.
I mean, yeah, like that's it. Like that's the biggest thing. And I'm hyped for it, man. Like we literally know the name. We have one piece of art and a date, and I'm ready.
Yeah. The other piece of news that we have is like, of course, I think Road to Nationals or ProQuest is starting to show up.
ProQuest.
It'll be happening in January, mid-January,
it's coming up quick.
In your local area. So I would definitely pay attention to that and start getting in there. Are you participating in ProQuest this year?
I will. I will probably give it a stab.
Yeah.
I'll probably wash out pretty fast, but I'm involved enough in the community at this point
Yeah.
that I feel like showing up to these sorts of things is, a good thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So what I guess the question is like, what is your strategy going into this? Like what you don't need to tell the community exactly what you're doing, but like what is your
Here's
thought
my complete
process
deck
going?
list, everybody. So like really for most of these things, and guys, please don't take any of this as gospel. I am decidedly a bottom tier player.
I mean, hence the name of the podcast. Yeah.
We're honest about what's going on here. We're not lying to anyone. So please, take this well salted, use your own mind, come up with your own opinions. But for me, I kind of see it as there are two paths to it, right?
Yeah.
You can either, obsess over what everybody else is going to do and get super into, the high level meta and go super, super serious and super like, beast mode crap.
Yeah.
And, obsess about it and, try to ferret out little pieces of information about other people in the area and all that jazz. Or you can build a deck you love. You can go in there with the intention to do the best that you possibly can and allow the game to sort of take its own path. And that's really kind of more what I do, which is probably why I'm a very bottom tier player.
Yeah.
But like I tune my decks, I test them out, I practice with them so I know what I'm doing. But the thing about things like this is that if you start looking at like the super, super like high tier meta, and you find a couple of examples and they're pretty similar for a particular hero or something, and you go in expecting it to be that, in the time of a month, I think, the meta can completely shift on its head.
Yeah.
All it takes is one person to figure out a new interesting build, and suddenly everything is built around that as opposed to what it was built around before. So you then are going in there with, a deck that's tuned for a month and a half ago, which isn't going to do you that much good. Or, the night before, you can start, making edits and go crazy like that. But so for me, I don't have that kind of patience. I don't have that kind of time. I'm just going in there mostly to do the best that I can do, to genuinely like put my best foot forward. Because I generally know, in comparison with other people in the community, about where I shake out. There are a couple that I'm pretty good against. There are a bunch that I'm really bad against. And I don't anticipate, doing particularly well in a Pro Quest or anything. But it is a good opportunity to go out there, test my deck building skills, test my piloting skills, and see where I am as sort of like a benchmark.
Yeah.
And then focus on what I need to focus on to improve in the next year, or however long it is. So when the next time something comes up, I can go again, repeat that process, and see where the improvement is, where I still need to improve, and maybe, incorporate something new into my general sort of play strategy. So for me, it's less about going and trying to beat people and more about going and trying to continue to grow and evolve in the hobby, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I kind of like what you said, or I like what you said there, not kind of liked, but I like what you
Appreciate
said there
that,
because we obviously are talking about a few things. Like you're talking about like understanding the meta and like kind of tuning to that or going in there and having fun, right? And
Basically, yeah.
And something to know about like the meta too, especially with this coming up, is if you're on the internets and you're using the Talishar, you're going to be playing the world meta.
Pretty much, yeah.
Does that make sense? And what that means is you'll be maybe fine-tuning a deck to verse that world meta, and then you go to your local meta, and it's totally different.
Much different.
So you have two metas to really worry about. So if you want to win one of these Pro Quests, which is usually local, and sometimes you'll have some outsiders show up too, they're going to be bringing their favorite decks that they like to use, that they know how to pilot really well.
Yep.
And so you need to also understand, if you want to try to win, essentially, understand your local meta and how to be able to be prepped to counter that.
Exactly.
Right. And so in order to deck build, you have to know like what to counter, all that type of stuff. And it doesn't really necessarily mean you need to also play the best meta deck. Like you and I aren't going to go like, I'm going to go spend $500 to make the best dash now, like
right.
That,
exactly. Yeah.
Like that's a deck that everyone's talking about being like the new dash deck's wild. And you're like, yeah, that's so cool.
The new dash deck is wild. I can't afford it.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that, but it's also like, I don't really want to play. Like Dash is a hard character to pilot. So if you're piloting,
Dash is tough. Like
good for
Dash
you.
is
Like,
very
that's awesome.
tactical. Like you got to know what the hell's going on with every single hand you pull.
You have to play flawlessly. It's great and difficult, and I'm proud of people who are able to push it off. But if you just go and buy the Dash deck and just show up, you're not going to do very well. I'm sorry.
Nope.
But also picking your favorite hero and be able to then think like, okay, dash could be there. This could be there. This is my favorite hero. How does this hero counter that? Is a great strategy to be able to go into Pro Tour as well. That's what I've been doing lately in my mind is like, all right, if dash is the best and this is the best, what is ways to be, and Fi is the best and Icelander is the best and whatever, what are ways to be able to make a deck to be able to do that? Well, if I focus my main deck to be this, and then I sideboard for the 2 outlier decks that change your deck completely, which is the Wizards, I'll be great, right? And so I'm excited to be able to bring whatever spice I have because I have a very interesting deck in my head that's going to like throw people off when they see it.
Excellent.
And then hopefully that's able to do
like really
right?
The perfect time for bringing like the weird thing that's actually phenomenally good is at an event like this, where you can come in and everyone's expecting something like straightforward, something that they've seen before, and you come in throwing knick-knack brick-a-brack around, and
that is definitely involved.
Yes, sir. And you know, and doing better than anybody thought you would. Big way to sort of, you know, progress the thought of the game forward is just to play with it a little bit. Find something that really works and then just double down on it.
Yeah, double down and just change it up and be like, okay, if I'm actually going to take this meme seriously, you know, or like what started as a joke seriously, like you got to be able to add those things to there. So
can it actually work? Let's find out.
It can. Yeah. It definitely can against
Will
the
it?
Things.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
But it's good. It's fun. Like I highly recommend anybody if you're going to at least go to one pro quest, and if you make it to top 8, awesome. If not, like you were there and you got to have fun and gain experience points. And
you were there. You played in the games. You'll learn something.
And if you win it, awesome. You got a gold foil, dude. That's awesome. Congratulations. You know, that's
let us
so
know
cool.
because maybe we can do some business or something. He said after not being able to buy a deck.
Yeah, the gold foil is more expensive.
What do you mean it's $10,000? That's not fair.
Yeah,
that's not right.
I'm excited for it, and I hope you guys are hyped for it too. Just go out there and pick the hero that you want, and be able to go from there, and you'll be able to be successful in the Pro Tour.
Exactly, and like that brings up a really interesting point in that it sort of depends upon how you consider yourself to be successful in this.
Yeah.
Does success to you mean going out and achieving a certain like win ratio? Or does it mean going out and, you know, just laughing with friends? Or does it mean, you know, putting time and effort into a thing and, you know, seeing how high you can reach, basically?
Yeah.
So, like, depending upon how you define that, you're going to have a better or a worse time. So if you are thinking about this sort of thing, if you do want to participate in, you know, higher level events like this, or really in anything, decide what you're going to get out of it and then pursue that. Don't get distracted with things that other people are like, well, you should be focusing on this. Well, this is what's most important. What's most important to you is what's most important in your experience with this game in general and with these sorts of events specifically.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And if you have the mindset of I get my peak enjoyment from winning, then you better make sure you're freaking practicing.
Right? Exactly.
Don't just show up and do that, because you're going to get very disheartened because a lot of people are there to be able to win, right?
Exactly. So, and a lot of people at these things go hardcore for it, and more power to them. Like if they're having fun with it, if they're having a good time, if this is giving them something, then rock on.
Yeah.
But if that's not you, there's no harm in admitting that. And there's no reason that you shouldn't go to these events if they still have an appeal to you. So don't, you know, big piece of advice, bottom tier top tip, is don't let yourself get intimidated by an event or by a group or by like a particular like game store or something like that. It can definitely be scary. It can definitely be, you know, anxiety, you know, producing, but take a deep breath, get in there, and the community is going to welcome you with open arms. Even at the highest levels, they're going to welcome you in and they're going to love playing the game with you.
Great tip. It's so good. You're right. Like you're going to go, you're going to have fun. You're going to gain community. It's going to be great. And another bottom tier tip is just like if you're brand new,
bottom tier top tip.
Yeah, top tip.
See, it's
bottom
word
top
play.
Yeah,
exactly.
Bottom tier top tip. If you're brand new, like don't go into this game thinking you're going to be a winner right away.
Don't
look for the small things. So like I would make sure you go to a couple armories, learn a little bit about your local meta. December's the best time because there's no one really trying hard for those promos because everyone gets the same shitty Xmas gifts the last
It's the holiday season. We can all take it easy for a minute.
So I would come, learn about some people, meet some people, and then just see the small wins. Like, I think what kept me in this game during the hard period, I guess, because our local meta is pretty sweaty, is shout out to local meta. You guys are sweaty. Is
we mean that in the best possible way, of course.
Yeah, they're sweaty players, profusely just dripping as soon as they play
Take
a card.
Shower, guys. Jeez.
But pretty much, like, I would see myself get closer in health. Where it's like, okay, I lost by like 30 health. Or now I'm at 15. Now I'm at 1. Now it's a real game, you know? Like, it actually feels like
it's not just I got down to 1 and then 1 turn later I lost. Now we're 1-1 for like 4 or 5
for a long time.
Turns.
I understand the things, because there's so much lines and things you need to learn. Like, there's step-by-step processes that, like, even as we make this podcast, we think of new tips that we could mention to be able to help with things, because we've learned something new after playing for a long period of time. And that's with anything. Like, the skill base for this, like, I was listening to a podcast for like a different game completely, but they were saying, like, typically, like, if you play 200 hours in like Skyrim, for example, you're a pro. You know what's going on. You played that game. You understand.
You know the game. You know the mechanics. You can use them now.
As soon as you start playing against other people and like doing like Call of Duty or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever popular video games out there.
Multiplayer
200 hours means you don't know anything. You know nothing, right? And so, like, it's thousands of hours is where you begin to actually learn something, and can call yourself like good, right?
Yeah.
According to this podcast I listened to. I think it's kind of similar to Flesh and Blood. Like, sure, you put 200 hours in the game on Talishar, all that stuff. You still don't know enough. Like, you still got to keep going.
You still don't. And really, like, frankly, the secret is, guys, nobody knows enough.
Right. This game's fairly new.
It's pretty new. New stuff is being discovered all the times, even with stuff that came out in like the first and second sets. Like, the early stuff is still getting reinvented and reused. Like, nobody knows where it's going in the next couple of years. No one knows where it's going in the next decade. Nobody even knows for sure, you know, everything that's happened in the past at this point, really. So just really, like, don't be intimidated by things. Yeah. We're all still learning this. Right. We're all still figuring things out.
Right. We see Dash, like, being dominant in the world, like, whatever, with their deck. But did everyone forget that Erase Face exists in Pummel?
Apparently.
Because if you throw an Erase Face out there and then pummel it, Dash can't do anything the next turn.
Right. Exactly. So,
and then you're like, cool, you're stagnant. And that sucks.
And then the momentum's on your side. And momentum is everything in this game. So, like, there's always a way to play around something. You just have to think of it. You just have to figure out the right combination of things to hit at the right time to squeak something by. So, like, just, you know, get out there.
Figure it out. Do some cool stuff. Do some research and be creative. And we all, like, comparing yourself to other people is, like, you know, like, whatever that quote is, right? Compare yourself to other people or lose your joy, whatever. Like, if we compare ourselves to the top person in the world, like, you also have to remember, hey, that person quit their job and focused on the game.
Right? If you got time like that, life.
If you got time for that, do it. If you don't have time for that and you're just doing this as a side hobby, then, hey, we are side characters and we are not any matter. Everyone else is House Gryffindor. You are Hufflepuff at this point.
Every NPC is the protagonist of their own story.
That is correct.
Deep thoughts here on Bottom Tier.
Deep thoughts.
Bottom thoughts?
Bottom top tots. Tots. Bottom top tots.
Man, now I want tater tots.
Bottom top tots.
Top tots.
Opening in a city near you.
One day. 2097.
That's our new franchise.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's exciting. We got new stuff. We got a new set. We got pro tours coming out. Exciting.
Yeah. Other than that, it's kind of a slow time right now.
Yeah.
Like, we're still figuring out all the dynasty stuff, and some of that's starting to really, like, have a big effect on things. We were talking about Dash, of course.
Reinar's
skyrocketing.
Reinar's
looking real good right now. So there's definitely some stuff happening, but with the lack of big events, there's not a whole lot of chance to, like, see it, like, actually happening in front of us.
It's a great time to get into Flesh and Blood right now, right? Because it's low key. You get to meet the community. You get to go out there and just have fun. It's going to be this is going to be the fun month, right?
This is the most forgiving time possible to get into this game.
Yeah, because you can try anything.
Right, exactly.
And no one will care. It'll be like, oh, it was so much fun. Yeah, great.
Like, awesome, yeah.
You want to make Arachne? Do it, like...
Right, rock and roll. Like, don't make Arachne. Make, some weird variant of Arachne. Don't run any assassin cards. Do something else.
Yeah.
Explore a little bit. Nobody knows how it works yet.
Maybe your local metal will be like, bring Starvo back. Just kidding.
All right, we can bring Starvo back, but he only gets 1 intellect.
Ooh. Yeah, so his ability doesn't work?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, solved it. Problem fixed.
We did it. All right, well, we're out of here.
Just runs all zeros. Bottom tier, everybody.
Woo!
Fixing the broken things since 2022.
Yeah, this year. Whoa!
Still technically this year.
Yeah. We're almost there.
It feels like more than a year. It feels like we've been doing this for a long time. And not like in a bad way where it's like, God, I'm so sick of this. Like, the time has flown. And I'm really genuinely surprised that it's not like later next year already.
It's flown and also been really slow at the same time.
Time is weird.
Time is relevant.
Wow.
Whoa. So crazy.
My brain just exploded.
My goodness. It's so cool. So with that, if you're a fan of Bottom Tier, as you are.
We hope you are. If
you're listening to this
If you're not, please tweet us. Send us an email. Tag us on I don't know. Reach out to us somehow and tell us why we suck.
We have a recurring segment called Lessons Learned.
We do. It is called Lessons Learned. It's about lessons that we've learned.
Yeah. In this last week of Flesh and Blood. So, Greg, any lessons learned this last week? I know you've had a lot going on, new job, new everything.
Yeah, crazy last week, but I do actually have a lesson.
Okay.
Practice your stupid deck.
Oh, my gosh. I feel like that's been our lesson a couple times.
Like a couple of times, yeah, but it just keeps getting reinforced, and one day I'll actually pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I was playing in this little just pop-up tournament thing basically online, and the day before my opponent and I had our match scheduled, I was just like, okay, I should probably think about what I want to play in this. So I kind of start idly thinking about it, and 12 hours pass, and it's like 3 hours before the game now. And so now I'm throwing together a deck sort of poorly formed around this kernel of an idea that I had that didn't really get to cook long enough. And it wasn't a bad deck. It was functional. It worked pretty decently, but I didn't actually have any idea how it actually played. Like, intellectually, I could tell you if I get this card and this card, then I need to pitch this in order to play this, in order to activate this, or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But I didn't know the deck well enough at that point, because it had only been in existence for like 3 hours, to be able to know that when I get a bad hand, this is how I respond to that. When I get too many of this thing or not enough of this thing, this is how I can work around that. So, like, in the broad strokes, I had it pretty down. But when you get into something where you're playing against someone who also knows their deck, at least in the broad strokes, it gets down to who has the more technical knowledge about how it works, and about how they can run around their own internal issues before you even get to respond to the other person. That's what I was missing. He ended up taking it. It was pretty close, but I didn't quite make it. And he progressed on the tournament, and I didn't. But that's the lesson. Practice your deck. Get the runs in.
That's a great lesson.
Before you actually start playing in a real thing. Like, obviously you have to play against people to learn how it works and everything. But before you go and like, yeah, I'll do this bracket tournament thing. Sounds like fun. Here's a deck I made in 45 seconds. That's
why December's perfect. This is your opportunity to be able to practice and fine tune those decks for Pro Tour next year.
Exactly. Or for anything else that you want to do. Yeah. ProQuest.
ProQuest.
It's the quest to become a pro.
Yeah, the quest to go to Pro Tour.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's awesome. That's great. That's a great lesson learned.
It's solid, and it ties nicely back in with some of the other stuff we were talking about tonight, which is cool. Yeah. I love it when things work out like that.
I mean, it's like you planned it.
Theming.
It's so cool.
I did not plan it at all.
Then there we go. Lessons learned.
Don't plan. It'll be okay. How about you, Matt? What you got?
Yeah. So I think I may have mentioned this before. I don't know, but my kind of realization on lessons learned this last week is like mental breaks, mental break is, in my definition, when it's coming to this card game, is it's okay to coast on the same decks for a little bit and like still going out there and playing and getting reps in and stuff. But that's just giving you a mental break, because like this week someone asked me the question like, so what decks you been working on? And I was like, none. Like, I have not worked on anything for like a while. Like, I haven't been like actively like Like
deck
I made
building,
I made
tuning.
I made like a Levia deck a while ago, and I just threw freaking like bric-a-brac. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't
exactly,
like
just-
it wasn't making a deck. It was just like I have this deck. I'm just doing this now. It's fun, right?
I want to run this gimmick. These are the cards I need for this gimmick. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, and now like as my brain has like got asked that question, it's like cool. I've been taking like a little like cool coasty mental break for a little bit, and now my brain's like, oh, ProQuest is coming up, and it's starting to be like, this will work, and if I do this, it does this, and this is, and so my brain is starting to run through reps in its mind again. So my mental break is just like, didn't really think about the game. I'm just showing up and having fun. Now I'm thinking about the game, and I'm thinking of the decks and thinking of the patterns and thinking of the lines ahead of time, which is I didn't realize was practice enough a lot in itself, right? Of like, if I'm thinking of these counters and all this stuff, it's like that, like it's the whole meme of the numbers showing up behind me and like thinking about it all the time in my spare time. So it's really, really cool now to be like, oh, that was my mental break, and that was totally fine. And it was great. So take those mental breaks.
And that's a phenomenal lesson. Like taking a break in things is necessary for anything that you do. No matter how much you love it, you have to take a break every once in a while because you only have so much energy to put towards it.
Yeah.
And if you run yourself down and then just keep pushing, you burn out and then you don't have the hobby anymore. You don't have that love and the passion for it anymore.
And a break doesn't necessarily mean you have to like walk away either. It's just eliminating like the brain forces that you need to put towards that thing.
Exactly.
If you just already have something made, just show up and just play it, and you don't really need like, I'm just enjoying the game right now, and then bam, you're back in it, and you're like, gonna be sweaty and need to take a shower, you know? Like,
and then you serious it up. Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think taking a break's great. That means the local meta better watch out because I'm coming.
Maddie,
I'm coming back.
Coming to get you.
Here comes Bolton. No, just kidding.
Here comes Bolton.
My favorite hero, Bolton. He's coming back, guys.
Bolton.
She's the biggest counter in the world. But yeah.
Oh, it's good. I'm looking forward to this next year, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome for Flesh and Blood and this hobby. And as you said, the time flew by fast. You know,
right?
Like, Uprising and Dynasty was like no time at all. And now Dynasty to Outlander or Outsiders is gonna be.
I always think it's Outlanders too. I don't know what that is.
You know, we just gotta. Yeah, I've been putting my mind like, oh, stay golden pony boy, stay golden pony boy. Like, outside, yeah. You know, it's gonna be good. If they don't have a card with this set, they don't have a joke about that, I'll be very upset.
Right?
Yeah. Stay golden.
Yeah, I get
you
it.
get a gold coin. Whoop whoop.
Gold, so useful.
It's just a greaser class. Like, we just put greaser as a talent.
Dude, seriously, if we can get like the Fawns as a hero, I'm 100% in. That's my new main. I don't even care if it's viable.
That's the first like thing. They're like, hey, we're not doing anything fantasy related. We're just bringing you the Fawns. And you're like, hey,
this new set, it's called New York. I play Delicatessen.
Perfect. I'd love it. I'd love a New York set. It'd be great.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good fun.
Mm-hmm. You could have an offhand, just a purse.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. So good.
Primary weapon, gun. Secondary weapon, knife.
So cool. With that, it's kind of a shorter podcast today, as you guys can tell, a little bit short.
Yeah, our energy is a little weird tonight, and it's significantly later than we normally do that.
Hey,
do this. So, it's fun.
Well, I mean, we had the news come out, we have some stuff happening.
It ended up working out in the long run.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased with it.
Yeah, for sure. Now you
Yeah.
get to hear this rambling for a little bit, but
yeah,
hey.
exactly. We're just vamping now because neither of us really want to end it yet, but we don't really have anything else to talk about.
So I think, yeah, Flesh and Blood's cool.
Flesh and Blood's cool. Play games.
Wow. Anyways, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments how awesome this podcast episode was.
Because we all know it was the best episode yet.
It was. We're gonna probably call it the new set is the pits.
The new set is the pits. There we go.
The new set is the pits, and
it's happening right in front of you, people.
Yeah. And guys, I hope you have a great holiday season. We'll see you guys again next week. We'll have something special, I guess, for that.
We'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out. Maybe it'll be involving Santa Claus. No, that's the week after. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But guys, thanks for listening to the Bottom Tier Podcast. As always, like us on YouTube. It's going to be coming back up here in 2023. And follow us on all podcast stuff. My name is Matt.
And I'm Greg. And guys, thank you for listening to the Bottom Tier. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And we'll see you here next time.
Toodles.
Adios, amigos.